Hi, everybody. Happy Hustle Show, lunchtime show today. Mondays are, well, yeah, they shouldn't be so super busy. I'd planned to block Mondays out of my diary all year, but at the moment, Mondays are super busy. So I have a tiny lunch gap between the training I was delivering this morning and the coaching calls that I have this afternoon. So just wanted to jump in and speak to you now. I've also discovered that for some of you that have signed up to get notifications about the Happy Hustle Show, that your kind of authority to get text messages has expired. Does that make sense? Like the permission that I have to send you text messages has expired. Hi, Angela. So if you are catching this later or you caught my message in the group and you haven't just received a text from me and you normally do, sign up for text again. I've put a post in the community and in the Hive if you're in there to click through and get text again, and then you will always know when these are happening. So today I want to talk to you about making your side hustle memorable and your role in it. And where this has come from is I was delivering a training session this morning, and somebody on the session said to me, we were talking about, so it's a train the trainer course that I'm delivering. So I train other people to be trainers. And one of the delegates on the course said to me, but the trainer isn't important. It's the message that's important. Hi, Hazel. And we were talking about we were talking about like what makes a great trainer and what makes a terrible trainer. Hi, Santina. Happy Monday to you as well. And in the feedback, so in the kind of feedback session, what this guy said, really lovely guy in my course, and he said, I just don't think the trainer's important. I think it's just the information that's important. So when I was saying, think about back to memorable training courses that you've been on, he was saying, well, the ones that I remember are the ones where I've just retained the information. And to be honest, I'm trying to think of the details of the trainer and I can't remember them. So I don't think the trainer's very important. And it made me think, okay, right, I know for a fact that the information that he has retained and he remembers fondly as learning on a training course, I know for a fact that that will have been delivered by a great trainer, because there's a massive difference between understanding information and being able to communicate it. It's not quite as straightforward as just having all the information and being brilliant at kind of relaying that to other people. And we know that because of the communication within the pandemic, right? And when we look at the scientists and we look at the politicians, whatever your persuasion is, they're very different communicators. And where you have a scientist that is an excellent communicator, he or she absolutely stands out. And now I know not all of you are in Scotland here. In fact, I don't think anyone here is in Scotland. But in Scotland, we've got a brilliant example of this. So we have our scientists in the same way as they do in all parts of the UK. Who inform the political decisions. But there were two scientists, people who are coming from a clinical background, who were excellent communicators. And the first one was Catherine Calderwood. And Catherine Calderwood is a woman after my own heart because she's from Northern Ireland and she's in Scotland. And she was basically the head of the all the paid ads that were in television saying, stay at home. This was kind of the beginning of the pandemic. So, like this time last year, really, she was the one saying, look, you really need to do this because, you're going to save lives and blah, blah, blah. And she was the credible communicator. So she had the background and the knowledge, but she also had the communication skills. There are loads and loads of people involved in the pandemic and, the genomic sequencing and, all the things that are critical, but might not necessarily have those communication skills. Anyway, Catherine was amazing, told people a lot not to leave their homes, not go to across the boundary, and then got caught going to her holiday home bless her. And she must, I mean, I can't believe how stressful a job it must have been. But anyway, someone took a picture of her somewhere where she wasn't supposed to be, at her second home, and you weren't supposed to go to your second home. So she was no longer the face of the campaign in Scotland, and she was replaced by Jason Leach. And if anybody here is watching this on replay and is Scottish, like, it's very, very difficult to not like Jason Leach. So Jason Leach is our clinical director. So very, very credible, has all the information, but is also very down to earth and very, very good at communicating. And it takes, so this made me think, I was talking about this with my delegates this morning, and it just kind of made me think, so that the chap I was telling you about earlier who's on my course, he was saying, well, it's just about the information. So Jason Leach in Scotland can get across the information brilliantly, but he can only do that not just because he has the information. He can only do that because he's bringing his personality to it. He's a very trustworthy guy. There might be people that kind of are listening to this thinking that they don't like him, but I'd be really surprised if there were many people that didn't like him as a sort of he's not a political figure, but as part of the kind of lockdown, I don't know, celebrities that have come out of it, like government-based celebrities. It's the way that he does it. He's very likable. You think, oh, if I went to the pub, I think I could go, all right, Jason, how you doing? And he'd probably sit and chat to you. You just want to do what he says. So when Jason Leach says, right, you must not do this, or you must not do that, there's a part of me that actually just wants to do it because Jason's telling me to do it. People laugh at me. Like, I've got friends that'll phone me up and go, am I allowed to do this or not? Because I still watch like all the political or the coronavirus briefings every day. I'm like obsessed by it. I need to know what I can do and when I can do it. And I'm really, really rules based. So I need to know, like, yesterday you're allowed. So in Scotland, you're allowed 4 people in your garden from 2 families. And yesterday, so one of my friends is building something in our garden. He's doing it, he's almost finished. It's amazing. So he can come into our garden now, and he wasn't able to until last week. So there was a big, massive gap between him kind of finishing where he was in December last year, and he wasn't allowed to come back into last week. He works for the NHS, very rules based as well, rightly so. But yesterday he said, oh, my wife, who's like my best friend, my wife's going to come down, and her mum. And I was like, oh, but so if I'm in the garden, because they're in the same family, because the mum's in a bubble, so then that's 4 people from 2 families in the garden. That's fine. But what happened is their daughters came in as well, who I love. I've known them since they were born. And now I'm like, oh no, there's now 6 people in the garden from 2 families. So I'm like going back in the door again because I'm so ridiculously rules-based. But anyway, it just made me think about how can we apply this to our side hustle. So how do we be the Jason Leach of our side hustle? Because Jason Leach makes me want to do whatever it is he is asking us to do. And to be honest, I was trying to think of somebody in the UK government who would have been such an equally good example, but I'm struggling. Now, I'm maybe just forgetting somebody, but I am struggling to come up with somebody that's, maybe you can suggest to me who you think is a really credible, likable communicator for the UK government. Rishi Sunak is probably the one that springs to mind most, but he's no Jason Leach. I love Jason. Anyway, the side hustle analogy here is you need to be the Jason Leach of your side hustle. People need to want to buy from you. They need to like you. They need to get the message of your service or your product. So they need the product to be memorable, but because of your involvement in it. If people are looking for something that isn't Professor Van Damme, I don't know who Professor Van Damme is, Hazel. I probably do. I can't think who that is, but maybe there's your UK example. But yeah, when people have a memorable experience from your side hustle, be it a product or a service, it'll be because You're there in the background adding your energy, your personality, your slant, your take on things. Because if people didn't want that, they would be buying from the pound shop, or they would be getting the service from, I don't know, like the government or whatever. People are looking for that connection. They're looking for that. So here's the thing. People like them. So when you can connect and be like your audience, and I guess probably I'm looking at Jason Leach going, oh, he's a really good communicator. That's what I aspire to be. And in my job, that's what, I have to fine tune all the time in my actual day job, where I'm a business psychologist and a training consultant. So I think I like him because he's like me, I think. Like that's praise indeed, compare myself to, but do you know what I mean? That's what I would like to be like, maybe. Lots of likes in a sentence. People are going to buy from your side hustle if they like you. They're going to want to support you if they like you. They have to like, there are people. So if I think of a service, right? So I know a lot of people. So if we think about, for those of you that are in the Happy Hustle Hive, and we bring in experts once a month and they teach us something, and then we use it to kind of move our side hustle forward. I know a whole load of experts that I could bring in. There are some of them that I wouldn't, because they're just not like me, and there's nothing wrong with them, but I like people like me. So I'm really taken by people that are, yeah. So I want to support and help people that are like me, but people that I don't perceive to be like me, I just like, I don't wish them any harm, but I don't really feel a connection there. In your side hustle, you want people to feel that connection to you. You want them to want to support you, whatever it is you're delivering. And the only way that you can do that is by adding your personality in. And the best way that you can do that is to create videos and let people actually see you, let them hear you. People connect when they know what you look like, when they know what you sound like. Them, they really get a sense of somebody through a video. Of course, it's not as good as in person, but with your side hustle, it's unlikely that you're going to meet everybody in person for the whole of your side hustle duration. So I think making sure that you're front and center of your side hustle is critical here, because you're then going to attract the people that love you and potentially repel the people that don't love you. But that's okay, because we're not looking to be insipid. We're not looking to be middle of the road. We're not looking to be beige, that everybody goes, oh yeah, that's fine. We want people to love it or go, well, that's not for me, whatever your side hustle is. And that is going to be the secret to your success. Let me see. Chris Whitty is nice but boring to listen to. Yeah, Hazel. I mean, Chris Whitty is a really good example. Like, he's such a lovely guy. Like, you know that he's a lovely guy, and he's so unbelievably intelligent. But he just, for me, I wish I could show you. Google Jason Leach in Scotland. I wish I could show you the difference just in his communication style. And of course, he hasn't been like, he's not gone through years of practice in his communication and stuff, because he hasn't had to, because he does a very detailed analytical job, which, the world would be like far worse off if he didn't do. So it's not like there's none of the scientists that come up on the stage in the UK press briefings or the coronavirus briefings that I don't think are credible and aren't. I mean, they're lovely and they add lots to it, but it's that charisma, it's that presence, it's that like dragging your eyes. If the TV was on in the background and I was talking to you and I saw Jason Leach on the screen, I would be quite keen to kind of finish this up and turn it on to hear what he's saying. Whereas it was Chris Whitty, I would think, oh, well, maybe catch up on that. So I totally know what you're saying. Angela, it's like the most memorable pitches in Dragon's Den. Yes, they aren't memorable because of how well they had their figures down or polished. It's about their personality and their passion. Yes. And you hear the dragons on Dragon's Den, Angela, saying, I really want to invest in you, don't you? You hear them saying, it's a bit disappointing that you're asking for 20% of your business and you're valuing it 10 million or whatever, the thing that people always get wrong. But they go, there's something about you. And those dragons are quite kind of switched into that intuition to go, you've kind of proved yourself. you've got that drive, you've got that energy, you've got that kind of just that attitude and that likability. And you hear them saying, I could work with you or I couldn't work with you. And it's about the product, but you're right, Angela, it's not definitely not just about the product. And that's a really good analogy as well for your side hustle. When you want this to skyrocket and to be able to price high and to be able to do less work to make more money, you need to be adding in you. You need to be being memorable somehow. And the memorableness, not a word, can come in with your packaging, things, if it's a product, things that you put in, your story, the way that you kind of handwrite a note, your bio on Pinterest or on Facebook, a video that you share of your story and why you do it, why you're so excited to bring your product or your service to the world. If you're service-based, you need to be all over video. People are not, I just really genuinely believe, and I say this at the beginning of every free challenge and boot camp that I do. And I do the challenges and the boot camps because I love them and I love to help people. And I appreciate that not everybody can kind of afford my paid products. However, I also think that no one is ever going to scroll through Google and go, I am thinking about possibly creating a side hustle in the future. Oh, look, there's Julie. I don't know who she is, but I'm going to buy this program and I'm going to trust that she's going to help me to do it. You have to try before you buy. You have to, so for service-based side hustles, you need people to see what they're getting, and they won't get that from pictures or text. You have to embrace the live. You have to embrace Clubhouse. You have to embrace video. You have to embrace this interactiveness if you can. But for product-based, it's still great to do that as well, because you want to support product-based businesses where you like the owner, and you only know if you like the owner if you actually feel that you know them, and the way that you know people online is through video. Hazel, great advice. I know people like me in real life, but find it hard to get my personality across online. I think it will take time to get more confidence. Yes, Hazel, absolutely. Everything is around time. And they say 21 hours of practice and things start to become a lot easier. When I did my first Facebook Live, in fact, when I did my first videos, and you can see these. So if you go into my Theta Jewelry YouTube channel, the first time I ever did videos, I was like, right, I'm definitely not doing them live. I'm going to pre-record them. I recorded them about 1 billion times before I even got something that I was remotely happy with. I put them up on YouTube and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know if anyone's ever looked at them. Like, it's not... being live and being in video is not the big deal that you think it's going to be, because unless you're driving traffic to that, probably not many people are going to see it. But if you have a look at my Theta Jewelry YouTube channel compared to my Happy Side Hustle YouTube channel, that's just practice. And I've been a trainer for a long time. So before I did the videos for Theta Jewelry, like, I sort of knew what to do. I sort of know how to be memorable and engaging. It's still like daunting to go on for the first time, but it's just practice. And what was really interesting in bootcamp week is, for those of you that came along to that, is that when people did kind of push themselves out of their comfort zone and do a live video, like the comments, the support from everybody on here and for their friends and family was amazing. And loads of people who did it either put a comment below it or messaged me to say, I got a sale, because people, even in their family, even their friends, were saying, oh, I didn't really realize what you did. I'll have one of those. Or I would love you to be able to deliver that service to me. And you just, sometimes, because you're so caught up in your own side hustle and your side hustle world, you sort of think that it's obvious what it is you do. And it's not. Like, I know I've got really, really close friends that have no idea what I do. Like, don't even really understand it. When I catch up with them, they'll go, so how's things been for, they don't even know, like, because they just see me as, so what, she makes jewelry and she helps coach side hustles, and she works with Skills Development Scotland, and she delivers training for Pitman Training, and she works with creative. I think they don't understand my career. They don't understand my career choices here, because a lot of them just, they work for a company and that's what you do. And anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is, just because you think people know what it is you do, they might not. So tell them, push yourself, be the memorable thing in your side hustle, because this is what differentiates you between buying something from a department store or buying a service from like a government body or whatever, and actually people wanting to buy into you and support you. Okay. I am good to go because I have to quickly have lunch and then I need to go into coaching calls all afternoon. So have a wonderful week, everybody, and I will see you all at some point on Thursday. If you didn't get a text for this video, then go to the pinned posts in the Happy Side Hustle community, or if you're in the Hive, it's in there as well, and click to get notifications and you'll get text next time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But usually when you sign up, you can get them forever, but I don't know. There's always tech things going on. But yeah, if you didn't get a text this time and you want one, make sure that you sign up and you will get one before I go live on Thursday. Okay, take care, everybody. Lovely to spend lunchtime with you. Bye.